Welcome to the Encouragement Conquers All podcast with Justin Fatica, the podcast for people who want to learn how to be the most encouraging person on the planet and enhance their encouragement superpowers. Now here's your host, Justin.
Welcome to the Encouragement Conquers All podcast. I'm super excited today. We're going to dive in deeply into stories from some individuals that are pretty special. They're gifts. They've been a gift in my life. Spent many years with one of them, and the other one is a new character that I'm getting to learn about. But guess what? It's Dr. Dillon Caswell. He's a clinical doctor of physical therapy and a performance coach. He's a performance coach. He's going to tell us more about that. He specializes in sports. He has a passion for cutting through all the biases going around in the physical therapy industry, and he's delivering truth in science and healing. Alongside him and his wife, Brandi, who I've known for over, I think, 8-9 years, and she is the CEO, and she is a beacon of hope. Let me tell you what, this girl will bring you some hope. She'll encourage you, and they're doing empowering events, and Dr. Dillon, he actually can meet with you. And he's going to meet with us now before he meets with you later, all right? I can't wait to be bonding with these characters. What a gift. Here they are, right here. Dillon and Brandi, all right? There they go. And I know you were working with me just a few months ago, all right? A few months ago, and now you jumped in here, and you guys are full-fledged having events, just so you know, they're having events, and they're also, you take on clients. Dillon, tell people what you're doing on a day-and-day basis.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thank you for having us. Thank you for all the work that you've put into Hard as Nails, because, Brandi, her last name changed in September because we got married, and a huge part of that was from her being here at Hard as Nails. And the mission that you've created and her saying the yes to come up here to Syracuse and be here led to our paths intersecting with each other. So we're grateful to be here today and to share this message, but we know that part of our origin story is Justin Fatica. Part of our origin story is Hard as Nails. So we're thankful for being on this podcast, and we're thankful for you for all the work that you've put in for this moment to happen. And our mission at Hope Not Nope is to empower hope to those plagued by nope. Nope is the misinformation, the rejection, anything that leads you into the temptation that you're not enough, that you're not seen, that you're not heard, and that you're not worthy. And we don't have to look far to get those messages. They are all over the place. In our line of work, it tends to come from the healthcare field, from coaches, from teammates, and from big media sources that are fear-mongering and telling people these things. The big thing with hope is that it relies on self-agency, goals, and a framework to achieve. Self-agency, you don't have control over everything, but you do have a sense of control to get out of the situation that you're in. By putting the work in. Hope is learned and earned. Goals, gotta have a goal. If you don't know where you're going, anywhere's gonna get you there. And then 3, to achieve that goal, you need a framework. And you need a framework that's based on modern science that is gonna give you the updates that allow you to actually go achieve that thing. Because a huge part of it that people are dealing with, the nope, is fear. I can't play basketball again. I have a meniscal tear. I can't golf again. I have low back pain. I have degenerative disc disease. That means that I can't get on the floor and play with my kid. I can't deadlift again because my disc is going to explode out of the posterior part of my back. And all the science up to this point with the updated framework has shown our bodies are resilient, they're robust, they're adaptable, and we're not stuck. We're not stuck with this hand that we got dealt. We're not stuck with this, I can't do this thing. And that's where we come in. We help people restore their healthy and athletic being by giving them the best healing agent, which is hope.
Yeah, so basically your message is your amazing message. Like the message is like, man, you're amazing. Like you can do this. Not nope, no, you can't do this. You can do this. And all the years that we worked together, it was great because I think it's just a good fit that the message works simultaneously with them. And how have you noticed what has been in the past few months, just as you're getting in full time? What has been the experience for you? Just because you're meeting different types of people. So What has been your experience?
It's been such a joy for me to be alongside Dillon with Hope Not Nope, but also the clarity from God of how he used my time at Hard as Nails to prepare me for my next step, which is my mission with my spouse. And I think that that's such a gift, because I know not everyone has that opportunity, especially with working. Like, they'll have a great spouse and they'll have a mission, but they might not actually get to work together, where for us, we get to work together every single day, and we've got to meet a lot of people just in the few months of us working together, but it's so unique. We had someone reach out to us who listens to our podcast, and a lot of people listen here and there, but we often hear the support from our family, our friends, our local community. But this person reached out to us recently about how that she was struggling. Someone recently passed away in her life, and the place where she found comfort was going to the gym. So her boyfriend or spouse said, go to the gym. You don't have to work out, but just go sit there, sit in the place that's comfortable. And I think, looking at Hard as Nails, my time with Hard as Nails, looking at now my time with Hope Not Nope, you need to have a place that's like a safe haven for yourself, where you can reflect and you can be present to God, and then you can move towards hope. And I think that her story is a perfect example of that, because she was able to persevere and find hope just by sitting in a gym during a dark time, but also because she had the community of her spouse or her boyfriend saying, do this because this is good for you. And I think the two things that Hope Not Nope and Hard as Nails are all about is community and having people to support you along the way, because we can't do anything in this world alone.
Yeah, and we can't. I was just telling you, I was hanging out with a bunch of executives at a Bible study, and they were all sharing they wish they didn't spend so many years focused so much on money, so much on finance, so much on getting to the next level. And in our work, we always want to impact more lives, and we always want to help more people, and we also want to be able to take care of the finances. But just in your experience, have you known that? How do you know in your experience that though it's a business, though it's an enterprise, that it's it's way more than that? How do you keep yourself centered, Dillon? How does that happen? What do you do on a daily basis? You're a doctor, you're also running events and running a podcast and doing a great job to influence lives, but how do you keep centered?
It's taken a bit.
Yeah, that's the story of all of our lives.
It's taken a bit to get there. When I graduated from Upstate Medical with my doctorate in physical therapy, I had my plan. And my plan was that I'm going to work in the NFL. Hopefully with the Kansas City Chiefs, but I'll take
come on. The Browns are going to beat them, that. We're coming after you. You better get nervous. We're coming for you.
We said the next time the Chiefs and Browns play, we're going to go to that game, and it could be in playoffs.
Yeah,
so now we're sitting there oh no, please tell me it's going to be an Arrowhead.
I'll call Harrison up. I'll tell him let's go. He'll help you out.
Yeah, so I had that plan of I'm doing this thing. So graduated school, I did specialized training to get my board specialty in sports. I established connections. I was working as a professor. I was working with semi-pro rugby. I was working with hockey. I was working with football. I was working with all these teams, working all these hours. And then it got to be the time around COVID. Everything shut down. I had a list of athletes, and they said, I don't see the point of coming in, because the ACC tournament, it's not happening. That basketball tournament, not happening. And so for the first time in my adult life, I had time. I had time to sit. I had time to pray. It was the first time that I felt myself intentionally pray, because I was kind of discovering and was curious at this time, but wasn't quite sure of where to go. And people said praying's a good thing to do, reading the Bible's a good thing to do. So let me open up the Old Testament and read it from front cover to back cover. I got about 3 books in the Old Testament. I was like, I thought this was supposed to be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
This is rough.
There's a lot of nope in there.
There's a lot of nope in this part. I'm like, where's the hope coming in? And it does come.
It does.
It does come. But I prayed and I said, I'm empty. I'm doing all these things, and I'm working towards what my plan is, but I feel empty. What am I here to do? Am I just supposed to go through life continuing to feel empty, but putting a smile on and showing up and just doing the work. Because part of me is like, just put your head down and do it. But it was like, no, I want you to be fulfilled. I want you to be happy and passionate about what you're doing. And I was like, great, what is that? And the message I got was, I want you to spread hope. Awesome. How do I do that?
Yeah.
And what I got in that first prayer was, I want you to start writing. So I started writing, and I didn't know what I was writing, but I was like, you know what? Language fascinates me. That it's not just about the words that we say, but how we say it, when we say it, how it can impact somebody, and the way that we deliver it. And one of my mentors, we're covering the state championship. This girl had a broken leg, like open fracture. You could see the tibia sticking out of the skin. You know that this is an emergency situation. This isn't good. He gets out to the field, and he leans down to her, and he goes, I just want you to know, you broke your leg, but you broke it in the best spot. So we're going to take care of you. We're going to get you in an immobilizer. We're going to get the ambulance out here. We're going to get you to the hospital. But I just want you to know that if there's a spot to break your leg, that was the best spot. And almost immediately, she went from crying in tears to going, you really think so?
Yep.
That's a good spot? And the way that he handled it, the way that he went into that situation with peace and with love and giving her a framework of hope while still being transparent with the wisdom. It's like, man, there's power in that. There's power in that. So I started studying language. Where does language come from? Why do we have different languages? And I wrote this huge essay on language. And then that evolved into gratitude, and then evolved into this, and then into this, and then 3 years later, it was the book, Hope Not Nope. That initial writing of language barely made the final cut. But it was, God gave me one step of direction, and I went towards that step. I had no idea what it was going to turn into. But I said, let's be obedient. Let's follow that first call. And I followed that, and then the next step came. And I followed that, and the next step came. And I would be lying if I came on here and said that. That doesn't mean now that I still think about, what about my plan?
Yeah, of course.
And what I've realized is that my source of stability, which is God, has that plan. And I may not see the full picture. I may not see exactly where it's going, but it's better. It's better than my plan. So what I do to center myself every day is I wake up routine, same time, start with reading scripture, and then read something in health or something in my field, and then I pray. We got a lot to accomplish today. What do you want me to focus on? Sometimes you get a clear message, other times you don't, and you just got to keep putting the work in. And I found that you put the work in, and if you start to get off track, at least in my prayer life, I get that message of, hey, you're getting off, get back towards this. And so that's been super helpful. I think the other thing that's really grounded us in our work is the people that we get to work with. Getting that message, we're driving back from Erie, and we're both just pretty fatigued, pretty tired. We have a long week ahead of us, and we just get this message of, I'm going through a really rough time, and I went to the gym, and I hope not noped. And you guys have never met me. You've never seen me in person, but you're helping me through one of the toughest times of my life. And so keeping our center on that is kind of what drives us. It's not about how much money does this thing bring in. It's how many people do we get to reach? How many people do we get to impact? And to me, you can't put a price on that. I think the worldly things are the things that get you off the path. When you start worrying about those things and you start playing like you're God. Like, I'm going to go find this money. I'm going to go get this building. I'm going to go do this thing. When we start to get in the driver's seat, it's not a smooth ride. And so I've learned, hey, there's a better driver. Go to the passenger seat.
Yeah, no, and that's a great point. I think a lot of people in their lives that get encouragement, what they do is they get encouragement by what they're doing. Yeah. And it never works, like you said. not my will, but your will, Lord, And the Lord wants great things for us, and he wants us to succeed, and he wants an abundant life for us. But he cares more about how significant we are to the people around us. He cares more about, the father that I am, the husband I am, and the friend I am. He cares more about, like, how I'm treating people at the office, more about how I treat the homeless guy or the stranger. And that's what I love about what you're doing and what you're striving to do, that there's a servant piece to this. I know in my life, one of my favorite Bible verses is, Mark 10:45. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, to give his life for the ransom of many. And that's what you're doing. That's what you're saying. Hope not nope is all about saying, okay, I'm not going to be about me. I'm going to be about serving. And what do you see in your culture? I mean, you guys are, in your 20s, late 20s, mid 20s. And from my perspective, I'm older than you, so I see the culture. I don't like what I see, and I'm sure a lot of people who listen to this say, I don't like what I see. And what I don't like I see is that everything is about me, and then people are wondering why they're so lonely. People are wondering why they're so afraid. Yeah. Because they're just focused on themselves. It's obvious why you're afraid. You're you're not focused on something beyond you. It's like when my uncle and my great uncle, they moved to, my great uncle moved from Italy to, Erie, PA, and he's like, what, am I gonna just be like whatever, or am I gonna do something about it? They weren't focused on whether they could eat or not. They were focused all on how I can make this society better. Yeah. So how do you see that young adults and older can really use your message, hope not nope? How can they use that message to really get out of themselves? And I see that you're doing that, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so I'll start it and then you can add on to it. I definitely think we do see a difference in the landscape of careers and employments, that it's pretty rare now that someone is staying 10, 15, 20 years in a job. They're kind of job hopping all over the place. They want flexibility. They want work-life balance. They kind of, from my perspective, they kind of want to hit it big and then go cruise control.
Some people, that's what it seems like.
Yeah, it seems like. And, if you're listening or watching this and you have that mentality, that's not the way to do it. It takes a lot of energy to launch, and then once you're up in orbit, it takes energy to still stay there. So it's not this thing of you get to there and then you're financially and all these things are taken care of the rest of your life. That's not why we're here. We know a handful of people that have achieved that, and they're not happy. They're not fulfilled. I have financial freedom. I have all these material things, but I'm not excited with what we did. I think the younger generation, I think it is important because I love the Greek proverb of a society grows great when a man plants a tree under the shade that he'll never sit. And we need more people doing that. And when we look for that, we can find glimpses of it. There's this one guy on Instagram, he takes donations, he goes around, buys new shoes, buys food, and just goes to the corner where homeless people are. And, hey, you need some new shoes? What size are you? Here you go.
That's awesome.
So there are some really great leaders in that young generation. I think the divide right now is that they're calling for something different, and we have to be that thing that gives them that thing that is different. Of, hey, I get it. If you want to focus on yourself, because if you focus on yourself, that helps you to serve other people, let's do that. But if you're focusing on yourself to not be a better person to then go serve other people, your objective is wrong. And we're not going to get behind that. So, it comes to the conversation of, why do you think you need this intense focus on yourself? Why do you have main character syndrome? Why do you not push a chair in when you leave a room? Why do you not go pick up that piece of garbage to serve somebody else?
Sure.
And showing them those things, and showing them also that, hey, you can do all those things and you may not be rewarded right away. And I think there is something to a lot of technology that has brought on a lot of immediate gratification. I put out this post and instantly I get 1,000 likes. I go viral on TikTok, and so people want that instant gratification. And we're here to tell you that instant gratification is not the way. Put in that work. Your reward, it may not be here, but you will get that reward from a higher source, a higher power when that time comes. Anything you'd add in?
Well, I think to sum it all up, like our desire is to empower people. Like, we want to empower people to live the best life that they can live for themselves. But we also know that part of that is living in service of others. And if you don't live in service of others, then, you know, you might live the best life that you think you want to live, but 5, 10, 15 years down the road, if you're not serving others, you'll slowly start to feel empty. And we just know that the most fulfilling life is always in service of others.
Yeah, yeah. I think a good example is, I forget I know it's in Matthew, but, you know, if there's a wood chip in your eye, take the chip out of your eye before you go take the wood chip out of your brother's eye.
For sure.
And I think that is an important message of, you know, if you have a busy brain and you have boiling water, you're not seeing clear. And if you're not seeing clear and you're not taking that wood out of your eye, you're still going to be able to serve people, but not as good as you could have if you've taken that time to get that wood chip out of your eye, to change your perspective, to change your being, to then go serve those other people. So I can see why the younger generation has that kind of main character syndrome. I want to focus on me. I think it's up to us to honor, hey, I get why you want to focus on yourself, because you've probably seen your parents, your family go through struggles by not taking care of themselves and by only sacrificing for other people and not taking any time in the week to take care of themselves, whether it's going for a walk or, you know, going to mass on Sunday by yourself to just have the silence, or taking a bubble bath when the kids are screaming and all these things. But I think the younger generation has seen the wear and tear that their parents have had, and it's up to us to show them that there's a balance to this. There's a balance of, yes, let's take care of yourself, but the reason you're taking care of yourself is to go serve others better, because now you're in a better place to go and do that.
Yeah, we got to model it. That's what you're saying. You got to model that, and they're gonna be like, "What is that? Why are you so alive? Why are you so excited about life? Why do you have such purpose?" I was in the car, I was driving one of my players. He went to, college this semester. I get nervous. These guys go to college, like, oh man, what are these guys gonna turn into? Oh my goodness, this is gonna be a flip of a coin here, right? You never know. They've been hanging with me, but now they've got to go spread their wings and fly in college. Holy cow! And my son's even going to college next year. It's a whole another deal. One of my buddies told me, he goes, "You're probably gonna go get a job in the university." I've already applied. I've already applied. I've got like a contract with the university. Are they gonna accept it or not? I never look for a contract, but I'm gonna go accept the contract. I never even look, but I am. I'm gonna get on that university and be able to hang out with them. If anybody tells me I did it because I love my son. But he got in the car and he was just hanging out, and we were talking. He goes, "Coach, I'm gonna give back. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go." I'm like, okay, well, just get some good grades, okay? Like, get your life in order. He goes, "No, Coach, I gotta do that. Because that's what you did for me, and that's what you guys are doing. You're saying, look, I'm going to get my life in order. I'm going to be a person that takes risks." And that's what you've done by doing, this business. That's what you've done by putting yourself out there and taking risks. I know you even did that with my own son, taking risks. Because I think that's what everybody wants to see. What kind of risks are you going to take to serve? What kind of risks? And one of my favorite things we've done, it drives me nuts, because every time we get these staff or these missionaries that work with us, 5 or 7, and then they're like, "Man, I gotta go start my own thing." I'm like you guys. I'm like, "Let's go." I'm happy for it. I swear. But it's like every single one. Then they go do this. But it's beautiful, because like they look at me and go, "Wow, you could do that." And that's why if I were to say the thing I'm most excited about is the entrepreneurial effort that you're putting in to do something better with this world. I think that if I were to say what the single most deficit we have right now in our culture is, we're using our entrepreneurial gifts to make quick cash, like you said. Yeah. The greatest gift we can do for any society is to be an entrepreneur, to be of the service of others. Any of the great mentors I've had, the Ken Blanchards, the Danny Bucks, the Rick Burst, I could give you a list. I mean, I've got high stakes guys. I've got guys you've never even heard about. But every single one of them, they've been an entrepreneur. They've had a vision to serve others. And that's what you and Brandi are doing. And I can't be more excited about it. I want to tell you about what you did for my son. He came home, he was one of your clients, you helped him out. Thanks for doing that. Yeah. All right. You got the family discount there from big Dr. Dillon over here. I got the family discount. said, it was neat because similar to what we do, you took a risk to show them, don't listen to Nope, listen to Hope. And so what did you do? You had him like on something, you pushed him on because he rolled his ankle pretty good. It was like, this big.
Yeah.
And he was healing up and you knew he was ready for it.
Yeah.
And so you pushed him. He's like, whoa! And then he laughed. He's like, oh, I'm okay, right? Why did you do that? I think that's something that with what you and Brandi are doing is taking risks within your genre, within, the sports, athletic, but taking risks to give people hope. What were you doing my Sunday? I'm sure you do it with everybody.
Yeah, I just want to see if you could take contact. He was talking trash in the whole session, so I was like, I'm gonna body him up.
All right, good.
No, I'm just
nothing wrong. He's playing college basketball next year, so he's gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah. But I think what people confuse with sport and with athletes is that their sole purpose is that sport or that thing, and we forget that people do this because of the values that it teaches them. Like in basketball, you have to be disciplined, you have to sacrifice, and you have to put the work in. And when people start to lose that thing that has taught them part of those values, it's not just about losing that sport, it's about losing their identity as a lifelong athlete. And people start to get afraid of, well, if I can't run on my ankle, can I actually go and play college basketball? If I can't play college basketball, then what do I do with that time when I'm in college? Because this is a thing that for a lot of people keeps us out of trouble.
Oh, for sure.
I'm so thankful I had sports growing up. I would have been in so much more trouble if I didn't have that time filled after school. So we forget that sports and being an athlete, it gives us that discipline. It gives us the values to say, I'm showing up to be my best self. I'm here to support my team. And people get afraid when they start to lose that. And then from my world of physical therapy, I'll flat out say it, our return to sport testing is terrible. If you can hop 3 times and it's within 10% of the other side, you're cleared to go back and play. Well, how many times are you hopping in a basketball game? How many miles are you running in a basketball game? 2.8 to 3.1 miles are ran in a basketball game. 50 different jumps are on average done by a guard in a basketball game. So we're saying because you did 3 jumps that you're good to go? No, you're not. And the way that I've taken our approach is that if we're going to have a re-injury, I'd rather you have it here in front of me instead of out on the court in front of thousands of people.
For sure, that's a great point.
And when you get on the court, I don't want you to be in fear. I want you to be confident that you belong there, confident that you've put the work in to do what that sport is asking you to do. And when we go to take that risk of giving body contact and pushing them to that next level to really get them back and be secured in it, because the number one risk of injury is previous injury. And the reason being is because the brain remembers it, but 2, because people aren't getting the graded exposure before they get back to it. So before we take that risk, we gather a bunch of data. We gather the subjective data that says, physiologically, this guy's good to go. He's got the calf strength, he's got the ankle stability, he's accepting forces, he has elasticity, he's able to run, he's able to cut, he's able to do these things. Well, how do we get rid of that? Well, we can't fully duplicate it, but we can replicate it. So, hey, jump off this box unexpectedly, I'm gonna give you a little elbow shove because I wanna see, can you reactively land on that? And when you do that, the confidence that you build because you just said, I wasn't expecting that to happen, and I landed on that foot, and I'm fine. I'm okay. Awesome. That's probably going to happen about 10 to 15 more times in a basketball game. Do you feel like you can take that on? Yeah. All right, let's get back to practice. So taking those risks is to better serve the athletes that we're working with. So when they get back there, they're ready to go. They don't have the fear anymore because we know fear plays such a role in keeping people in the nope. And the framework to get them to hope is we have to get rid of that fear. The best way to get rid of the fear is graded exposure. So I also told them, said, hey, now you got to cross me up. Hey, we're going up for a board. Box me out. And I'm hitting his leg. I got down. I go, hey, we're playing street ball. I'm playing with a shoe. I'm untying his shoe.
That's great.
Smacking the ankle. And I'm saying, how do you feel?
Why wouldn't most doctors do that? What would be the reasoning? Because I'm just saying,
yeah.
I've never seen a doctor in the room, playing a ball game with, touching their, boxing them out. Like, why wouldn't somebody do that? What's the reasoning?
Yeah, I think, and this is opinion based, but when we do look at the research, most providers have about 11 minutes with a patient.
Okay.
And in that time, they're getting interrupted about every 10 seconds. They have so many tasks that they have to do because a lot of these people are working within the system of insurance-based systems and the bureaucracy of writing this note and that note and that note. So they're, in my opinion, they're trying to do the best that they can do, but they have no time to get to those things. They come in, hey, you feeling better? You feel like you're good to go? Yep. Okay, do some calf raises for me. Show me a jump. All right, I think you're good to go. Go and try it out and see what happens. And, you know, it's partly what got me out from working in the system.
Yeah.
It's because I'm like, that's not, I understand why it's done, because the more people you can see in a day, the more reimbursement you're getting. And the more reimbursement you're getting keeps the lights on, buys new fancy buildings, gets new equipment, gets like, I understand that. Sure. But it's not the way that we want to work with people. I want to be with you one-on-one. I want to know what you're afraid of. I want to know where we're at. I don't want to have 4 people going at the same time that we're handing out a exercise sheet to, and I don't even know what they're here for anymore. And I'm walking around going, hey, you doing okay with that exercise? Okay, let me go back to my desk and work on the note. Hey, you doing okay? Let me go check that. Like, no, we want to be with that person and getting back to it. And because both of us, we know how important movement is and being part of that community with other people. And we know what it's like when it's taken away from you. And we don't want anyone to have that. It doesn't matter the age. You could be, I have a client that is in his 70s and ranked 7th in the world in 400 meter sprinting and just phenomenal athlete. We have young people that got cut from a team that, hey, I want to get back to that team. I want to achieve. I want to do this. All right, to do that, we need to give you the framework. And for us to create that framework for you, we got to be one-on-one. We got to have that time to understand what are your limiting factors. What has kept you from becoming the best version of yourself? And I'll say from doing this now, working with clients for over a decade, is that, man, people set so small of a goal for themselves. They aim so small, and you show them their potential, and they get excited, and they're like, wait, you think I'm capable of more? I don't think you're capable of more. I know you're capable of more, because look what you just did. Look at your results. Look at your assessment results. Look what you've already accomplished despite the note that you've been giving. What if we take you from this level to that next level and you reach this potential that you never even thought was possible? And so that's why we do. That's why we take the risk of giving athletes contact. I worked in semi-pro rugby, and this guy had a shoulder surgery, was coming back, did all the strength stuff. He passed all the orthopedic, all the physical therapy tests, and he's like, so I'm good to go. I go, yeah, you are. I'm like, but I have a question for you. He goes, yeah, what's up, doc? I go, how confident are you in tackling someone? He goes, I haven't tackled someone in 9 months. I said, well, I'm about the third of the size of the guys you're going to go against. Can you tackle me? Yeah, I could tackle you. He lit me up.
So he was ready. He was ready for action.
Oh, he hit me 5 yards back, and I was like, man, I shouldn't have been nagging him this entire 9 months. He's been holding this up. And
that's awesome.
And so after that, I was like, okay, that's one tackle. Brought over another guy that was at the gym. He's bigger than me. He's 2/3 about the size of a semi-pro rugby guy. I go, tackle him. He tackles him. All right, you show me that you can make 2 tackles. How many tackles do you make in a game? I tend to make 20 to 30 tackles in a game. Cool. Are you doing that when you're fresh or fatigued? Oh, I'm doing it when I'm fatigued. All right, go sprint on the bike, go do some burpees, get your heart rate up, come back, and let's tackle again. Now, meanwhile, everyone was looking at us. What are you doing? Why are you guys tackling each other? Exactly. Is this a fun?
It's fun. It's fun, huh?
And it's partly of the way that our nervous system works is our brain works by prediction. And the more that we can give them the prediction that this event can happen, and it doesn't lead to injury.
That makes total sense.
It doesn't lead to pain. Now the higher likelihood that they get back and they're staying back. Because once they're back, I want to work with them for performance. I don't want to take care of an ankle injury for 3 years or a shoulder injury for 10 years. Like, let's take care of it from the beginning.
Get them to the next level.
Get them to the next level.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're saying is, like, basically throughout the week you're focused on, taking as many clients as you can to work with, and then when you have time for events, which Brandi's running and then you're a part of, like, then you'll have events. So you have clients and events. Mm-hmm. So what do you think like, where is this going? Where do you think this is headed? Brandi, what's your thoughts? Where is this headed? If you were to say, you know me, this is what I do. I'm all about vision. I'm all about, where is this going? Because, for me, as you know, having a vision since you're 19 and me striving, with the gym and the arena and all these things, that's how my brain works. So, like, where do you see this going? You're 15 years from now. What's in your brain?
I think it's such a blessing to be able to have worked with you, who's such a visionary, and then now Dillon, who's also a visionary. It's like God prepped me for all those years to be married to a visionary now. But it's so cool because I feel like it also kind of trained me in having a vision as well.
For sure.
I definitely grew up more of having a dream. Like, I would dream about things, but I never would really truly vision. Where now I feel like that's intertwined. Like, dreaming is having a vision as well. And gosh, in 15 years, I think that Hope Not Nope is going to be blessing a lot of people's lives. I think ideally, Dillon will still have some clients, but we'll have a team around us supporting us that we've taught them, empowered them. They're part of our team, and they're able to also see clients. So it's not, Dillon can't see 100, like 200, 500
that you're working with.
Exactly. Yeah, and we call it hope coaching, but I'm a hope coach. I don't have to do the doctor side of things, but I can still, work with them in a physical sense, work with them in an emotional sense and mental sense. And so I think we'll still always have clients because we believe in hope coaching. We want to do hope coaching. That's really the basis of what we're doing. But we both love public speaking. We love being able to share about leadership. We love being able to be in front of people, empower them. And, if you're working one-on-one with someone, it's so special. But as you know, one-on-one is only so much. But if you can get in front of 100 people, 1,000 people, 100,000 people to still share the message, like, that's where the impact happens. And so I know both of us really desire to be able to be on the speaking circuit and speak at different conferences in order to truly let this message spread to more and more people, because I think it's needed. It's needed with athletes, and it's needed with people who are middle-aged and believe that they can't work out anymore because of whatever they've been given. It's needed for young people who wanted to be collegiate athletes but then didn't get to go to college, so they stopped working out. And it's like, no, like, you're still an athlete. Your birthright is to be healthy and athletic. Why are we giving up this thing? And so if we're able to get on the speaking circuit and really have these events to impact thousands of lives, like, that's going to move more than one-on-one. And then maybe some people there we can still work with one-on-one, but we'll also have a team of people being able to work with them as well.
Yeah, so what you're doing now, what's one event that you've been impacted by? I know you did a couple events in the Syracuse area, and you did an event in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. What events spoke to you, Brandi, that you were like, man, this event was beautiful?
I'm definitely biased, but we had the opportunity to do an event locally here at Holy Family Church in Syracuse, which is where Dillon was baptized a couple years ago, came into the church fully, and also...
I love it, Brandi. She's bringing them in. Fall in love with me, you better fall in love with Jesus.
Exactly. But
I'm glad you started praying.
Yeah.
All right, come on, man.
Which was before we met, which was good.
Yeah.
All right, good.
He's building me up.
That's right. Hey, she just took you the right direction.
Exactly.
I didn't want to go the other direction. You didn't want that.
But yeah, like, where he was baptized, it's where we got married. So it was almost like a homecoming for both of us to be able to have the event there. And, we did promotion and ads and all this stuff for the event. And when we were at the event, it was a weeknight. We probably promoted it for maybe a month and a half. And there was probably 70 to 80 people there, and we only knew half of them. And for us, like, that was such a huge moment of, this isn't just our network anymore. This is really reaching more and more people and is going to impact more and more people. And so, we were able to do it at the church, impact some of their parishioners. Some people invited their friends. We had old clients come. We had people drive over an hour to come to the event, which just meant so much to us. But I think the fact that it was a homecoming in the sense of, it was at the place we got married a month prior. It was at the place where he came into the church. I used to, volunteer for their youth group for a couple years there. And so it was just really, like, that was just so special to be able to, like, have the event, have the book signing, at that specific location.
Yeah, it's something I just can't be more excited about. You know, I had Leon, one of the Pack podcasts, Antonio, who runs his old, race car thing.
Yeah.
You know, like no, honestly, I got two other guys that, they run big companies with the Minnesota Vikings, where they, work with them, and then another one with Michigan State. We have about, I've listed it, I'd say young people that have worked with me, we have over 30% that run their own company.
Wow.
Over 30%.
Wow.
And so I'm like, that's crazy to think about. Like that they, in some way, shape, or form, Joe Kane's got his whole real estate thing going on, all these different names I could go through. And I'm like, what's that? What I think about it often, so I have my own ideas. You were with me for what? I think from my perspective, that's one of the most important things you can do for our society right now, is train people on how to lead people to serve. Mm-hmm. Train people on how to build something that can be of the service of others. I brought that up earlier, but I can't bring that up enough. Anybody who's living, who's alive, who has any energy in your life, how can you go out to breakfast with somebody, sit down and go, hey, how are you serving others? Mm-hmm. I took a class, man, I don't do that very often, but I did take one. It was on the 6 ways in your life, and one of them is socially, and they trained me on that. Socially doesn't mean, in the world, most people think it means, go hang out with someone. That's not what it trained me. It said socially is go give back to someone. Mm. There's a difference. People think it's going to fill you up to go hang out with someone. You know how many times you just go hang out with people and you go home, you're like, that wore me out. You know what I mean? Like, why did I even do that? Yeah. But how many times you help on a basketball trip? Mm-hmm. And you came back, even though you exhausted yourself, you were up even a little later than usual. Like, wow, that was awesome. Mm-hmm. That was so much fun to give back. Mm-hmm. Why do you think, these young people have been a part of Hard as Nails and have been a part of our events? Why do you think you did that? You're serving and leading others. So why do you think they're doing that? Because, don't just say myself, there's got to be something. I'm trying to figure this out because I love it. I want everybody, honestly, what you guys do, I wish every single person that hung out with me did what you're doing.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, either work with us and stay with us, number one. Either work with us and stay with us, number one, or number 2, go out and serve us. Just to make that clear, I'm very real about it.
I think that's a fair question, and really cool. I love the statistic of that. I didn't realize so many.
It's crazy.
But,
I was reading through.
I believe it 100%, and I do think a part of it is Hard as Nails. I also think a big part of it is prior to me coming to Hard as Nails, when I was in college for 2 years getting my bachelor's, my mentor at the time, I was volunteering 40 to 60 hours a week, helping with youth ministry, planning retreats and all that during that time. And I wasn't being paid for that.
For sure.
And I was doing that almost full time while also going to school.
Yeah.
And so I think even though that time of my life, I'm 18 years old, 19 years old, I was so young. I think service was already being planted in me. And then coming to Hard as Nails, spending 8 years here, being around it so much. Yes, your leadership, but also just the leadership of every person that's come through the door. It's the witness. And I think it's the witness because that's what we should do as Christians. Imagine a world where every person who says yes to Jesus, I think of my nephew. My nephew is 9 years old and he's not baptized. My sister's leading him in the faith, but not baptized yet. At Thanksgiving, I was talking to my other niece and nephew, who's from my other sister, and I'm their godmother. And so I was talking to them about that. And my nephew goes, well, how do I be baptized? And I was like, well, do you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior? And he goes, well, duh.
Well, of course.
which I loved as a little 9-year-old. He had that moment. But I think if more people had the well, duh attitude when they truly accept Jesus into their heart, and then took that attitude to really serve others, imagine what this world would truly be like. Because Christianity, there's so many Christians in this world, but I don't think every single Christian is living in service to others. And so I think that that's a huge part of it. I also think that, with Hope Not Nope, for us specifically, it's what we're passionate about. It's what I'm passionate about. Before I came to Hard as Nails, when I got to Hard as Nails, like my story was I was injured and my injury led me to Jesus. I'm at Hope Not Nope now. I still have the same story.
Have you injured her, Dillon? No, I'm joking.
No, but it's that injury.
And now you're letting him Jesus.
No, but it's the same injury, right? I was in chronic pain for 10 years. And it led me to Jesus, but during that time I still had so much pain.
For sure, yeah.
And now, working with Hope Not Nope, before Hope Not Nope really existed, I had the opportunity to work with Dillon, and I was his client, and learning this methodology, the way that he works with people, and realizing like this changed my life, that I didn't have to be in chronic pain anymore. That
For sure. And I remember that, so that you're not going through that. That's beautiful.
It's amazing. Having a doctor tell you you're going to be in chronic pain the rest of your life when you're 16 years old, like no one wants to hear that.
That's no. That's no. That's no, not hope. That's double no.
And I believed it. I believed it for so long. And then Dillon was the first doctor that told me that I didn't have to believe that anymore, and he believed in me. He heard my whole story. I told him I was diagnosed with complex regional pain syndrome and all these things. And he heard my whole story and he said, I believe in you. You're an elite athlete. And I had never been told that by a doctor before. And for him to say that after never even seeing me be an athlete was like, oh, this is something real. And so I think not that he was like trying to maneuver me to get to work for this business by any means, but it was natural.
I thought you were cute though.
But like for us to now be able to be married and work together and have like this connection and this truly this like ministry, it's because I love to serve. I'm a Christian, so I want to serve, but then I'm also passionate about the thing.
For sure.
And Hard as Nails teaches every single missionary in here to live with passion.
Yeah.
And I think that people just take that and then go, like I know you mentioned, Antonio, one of the past missionaries that I was a missionary with, like he's passionate about race cars.
Oh my goodness.
And I remember as a missionary, he was passionate about race cars. And so it's he's going, he's serving, and he's living like the thing.
But Antonio, if you're out there, you better be serving others. Come on.
But yeah, so I think it's passion and service.
No, yeah, whether it's Antonio, whether it's you, whether it's any of those, the young adult. And I bring this up because I think a lot of us don't realize. We think we're done when we're 60. My grandmother, if you go check out her pocket, she's unbelievable. But
104?
Yeah, 104. She'll be 105 this year.
Wow.
But like, she's always like, I want you to get in the Las Vegas, I want you, because the top 10, I always joke, I said the top 10 oldest people are in Las Vegas, and you can bet on them to see who's the oldest person that's going to be the oldest person to live out of these 10 people. Don't do that, you're cursing me that I lived that long. But I even tell her, even though she's almost 105, I say, look, you're not done until you're dead, Graham. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of older people that they think they're done because they're 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever, 104. But every one of us can lead young adults to say, look, you can serve others. Here, let me tell you what life's really about. Mm-hmm. We all can write a letter to someone. You share about these people who have written to you. Well, we can write letters to others and say, hey, look what you've done. I know you've written me some beautiful letters. I never throw them out. I might not know where they are, but I throw them. I didn't throw them out, I swear. I don't throw any letters out. They're going to be all over my house like this, all over the set. But honestly, writing a letter to somebody, and somebody can do that right now and share, hey, this is how you brought me hope. This is how you helped me to get through this. Every one of us could text somebody once a week. Just say, I just want you to know I'm thinking about you today. I don't spend much time. How can somebody do that practically in their, not, it's just like me, not everybody's going to be a coach, not everybody's going to be a speaker, not everybody's, going to run a company, but every single one of us can bring hope. Every single one of us can find, what are some of those practical ways that you've seen, Dillon, that people can bring hope?
Yeah, our goal is that by the end of Hope Coaching, or the end of the book, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but we'll go with it anyway.
Go with it, come on.
Our goal is that people become hope. And what does that look like? It's how they carry themselves in society. It's them showing up for other people. We constantly use the test of just driving around and seeing how many people are smiling, how many people are in their cars just jamming out, enjoying life. You know, we have all these things on us, but I'm grateful that I have a car. I'm grateful that I get to put gas in this car. I'm grateful that I get to drive to go pick up my kid, or I'm grateful I get to go do this thing. And so we want people to become hope. And when people become hope, they have this thing about them that other people want. They don't know what it is, but they're like, there's something about you that there's light shining, and I want that. It's like a magnet. I'm getting drawn towards you. And you just seem so happy. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your face. I can see it in your body. You're just fulfilled. Well, how do I do that? And we don't have those answers. As far as, well, what you do is you go open up your own business. You set up an S Corp, and then in 3 months you get your system set up, and in 6 months you do this. Yeah. But what we can say is that it's the simple, not easy solutions. Nope is all around us. It's constantly there. But we have to intentionally say, I have self-agency to respect the nope that's been put on my plate, but it doesn't mean that's what I need to eat. I can take this and I can start making simple but not easy changes. I can start going to bed a little bit earlier instead of staying on my phone. I can write a thank you note to somebody. I can hold a door for somebody. I can wave to so many people, I see a homeless person, I don't have any money to give. Give them a smile. Give them a wave. Give them a you're amazing. All of those little things that are simple but not easy to do, that's the framework that's going to get you to become hope. And that's where we really put our focus. We're not doing anything that I think is crazy new technology. It's getting back to our fundamental right of caring for other people and teaching other people how to both care for themselves and how to care for all the people around them. It's gratitude, it's forgiveness, it's self-talk, it's being part of community, it's doing things that fulfill you. And we consider everybody as an athlete. It just looks a little bit different.
For sure.
And
we all got to move.
We all got to move. we all got to move. And everyone's passion is a little bit different. You know, there's a local bar. One of our friends, he got into the FBI. It was going away party, so we meet up at this bar, and it's open mic night. We couldn't leave. We were glued into watching this because there was a guy out there playing the trumpet. A guy brought in a violin. Another guy brought his own beats and started rapping. Had no idea what he was saying, but the crowd was going nuts. And Brandi and I are just sitting there just soaking it in because we're not judging the performance. We're not sitting there going, whoa,
what's that about?
What's that about? This person, we don't know the struggle that they're in or that they're going through.
Sure.
And this little moment in the week helps them to be hope, to then get that to other people. Because now they get to go back in the workplace on Thursday and Friday. They come in, they're lighter, they're different, they're talking to people differently. It's contagious. People pick that up and, oh, you're nice. Okay, maybe I should be nice. Oh, I can't believe I said
it.
It
reminds me when I go to the Browns backers. You know what I mean? Like, they need to go to the Browns. They go to the Browns backers. It's like their life. You know, like this week I get 4 hours with Browns fans. Everybody might look at us like hell on earth, but they look at us like heaven on earth.
Right.
You know? Exactly. And I think you're right, Dillon. I mean, they think we have to, like, you know, I had a buddy of mine reaching out. He's helping me with my book, write my book, and he's like, man, thanks for being a friend, but like he's sharing all this garbage that he's going through. I'm not doing anything. All I'm doing is listening.
Right.
I'm not even saying anything. I'm behaving myself. Usually I say something, I misbehave, you know. Like,
right.
But I'm not. I think that's important for us to put our energy into what people see as important. And it's a question that I'm going to ask you. But Brandi, any practical ways you can live out this message, or somebody else could live out this message of, you know, of hope, not no.
Dillon said it perfectly.
Okay,
so it's hard for me.
You're perfect. You got game, bro. I never heard a woman say it perfectly. That's impressive. All right, I got the the best question. One of my favorite questions, Al, unless you got something.
Well, I was just going to say, I feel like...
Not so perfectly,
you're
but
perfect, but...
You're perfect, but...
Well, I feel like Dillon is typically has like the examples and all the details, and I'm really good at like summing up everything.
Okay,
so
good.
I was like, I don't want to say the same thing of becoming hope.
Yeah.
So what am I actually going to say? But you know, practically, I think it looks different for every person.
For sure, yeah.
And you need to know what works for you, what charges you, but that can serve like the people that you want to serve. Like if the people you want to serve, we've already brought them up, but if the people you want to serve are the homeless, then like be intentional with the homeless and, you know, cook them a meal, you know, make 4 or 5 meals, bring them out on Christmas Eve. You know where they're at in town, like go do that. If the people you want to serve is your sister, your sister-in-law, or your friends who just had a baby, reach out to them, text them, call them in the middle of the night, sacrifice 30 minutes at midnight because you know that they're up at that time or whatever it may be. Like, there's ways that you can live hope, not know in the encouragement sense, because this is encouragement conquers all. Like, you can encourage people in such unique ways, but you need to figure out like, what is that? Like, what is that for you specifically? And so I know my like friends in my network, but I also know for me, like, I really truly believe that God has called me to a something like bigger. Like, it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna stay within my friend group or my community. Like, I really believe that through Hope Not Know, God has called me to be able to reach a larger amount of people, and so I'll be able to do that in the way that God leads me, but really being open to, you know, what is he speaking and how can you serve, you know, your close community, and then where else is he leading you to.
Yeah, and I think that's encouragement. That's something that, you know, I want to close out on. Like, really, you know, what we're doing here is like, it's a term that we use now, unconditional encouragement. You know, how can you live that out? And I got that term from a non-Christian. I didn't get it from somebody who was involved with faith or church or this and that. And he said, hey, what you're doing is, I got it. I know what it's about. You're giving unconditional encouragement. And that's what I believe, like, what you guys are doing as well. You know, hope not know. It's like, look, I'm gonna raise the bar for you because I want to encourage you. Or, hey, I'm just gonna listen to you in this moment to encourage you. But something I asked some of the guests, which I want to ask you because I'm always interested. I use this example. It's a funny example. Like, I was with my sister-in-laws the other night. And I was like, why don't you guys just stop over, like, open the door, come in and say, hey, how you doing? Like, do you understand how excited I'd be? Like, if you did that, like, you didn't knock on the door, you were, like, actually intruding. Yeah. Like, you just totally just walked in, here I am, I'm here to see you. They're like, that's rude. I was like, well, to you it's rude. So I said, to you it's rude, but to me, that's what my uncle did. Mm-hmm. That's what my cousins did. They didn't knock on the door, my Italian cousins. They didn't knock on the door of my Italian uncle. They walked in, said, where's the food? Mm-hmm. They opened the fridge. Can I stay 3 months? You know? Literally, one of my cousins stayed 3 months. But like, to everybody else, that might be intruding. But to me, that's encouragement. And nobody might know it. I hope one day they stop by and then they're like, what are you intruding for? No. They're like, you flipped it out, you messed with me. But the question I would ask you is like, what's an example for you? And I think this is important in our society right now. People with stances and boxes and everybody trying to love people, say like, you should be loved that way. Like how can we encourage others? And I'm interested. What's one thing, a way someone could encourage you? This will help you for, then you get like some great data out of this or something. But like, what's one way you could be encouraged that people might be surprised? Actually, this would encourage me, but you might even think this is rude. I got an example. I stumped my last guess. I thought I'd like stump somebody else. But
well, you gave a great example because I looked at him and I was like, that's just our family. Because we both come from Italian families. So I'm like, you're just talking about our moms.
Yeah, for sure.
Here I am.
Here I am.
I think for us to give unconditional encouragement, I'll share a quick story. In 2018, I was on the CrossFit medical team, and the Eastern region was in Albany. So the top 0.001% of CrossFit athletes come to this event. There's one athlete, Catherine David's daughter, puts on an amazing performance, wins every event, set records, just things that haven't been done before. Other guy, he comes in, he wins almost every event, gets first place in an amazing performance. Not the highlight of the weekend. The highlight of the weekend is an athlete that I'll never know her name. She placed 39th out of 40. There was one event in which they were doing snatches with a barbell, and the weight was just not a weight that she was able to move. The competitors, they had finished. There was like a 12-minute time cap. They had all finished. She's at the second station, which has this heavy barbell snatch. And she's trying and can't lift it. Trying and can't lift it. The girl that was in first place, that won every event, she came out from the warm-ups and went to her side. And she just said, take a breath. You got this. Like, we're here with you. Next competitor came out. Soon there's 10 competitors around this one girl. The entire arena is erupting, cheering for this athlete to get this one lift, this one obstacle. Now, she had to do a series of them, able to move on to the next one, and she didn't. But she PR'd that lift 2 to 3 different times by one person starting the charge. One person coming to her side and saying, there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of eyes on you. Put it out. It's you and me. I'm here to support you. I'm not doing that lift for you. I can't do that for you. But I'm going to be here for you in that. So how do we give unconditional support and encouragement to others? Supporting them. Being there for them. Simple, but not easy.
Yeah, it might mean nothing. Mm-hmm. It might mean nothing to you or to everyone else, but to them it means everything.
Yeah.
It means everything.
Exactly.
What's one way in your own life? You're like me. You like to answer the question, but not really answer the question. All right?
I've met my match.
I do that all the time, so I can't be upset at anybody that does it. I do that. No, but like, what for you personally? Like, that's for her.
Yeah.
But what's one person emotionally, mentally, physically, something that would encourage you that people be surprised about? And the reason I ask this question is this is what I think unconditional encouragement is with the people that are in our viewers' lives. You got to find out what that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if you can find that out, that's when you can be like Jesus. Because Jesus loves us in the quiet moments. He loves us in the loud moments. He loves us in the simple things. He loves us in the complicated things. Mm-hmm. So what do you want me to go to Brandon and give him a chance?
I have one.
I'm good to go.
You're good, are you sure?
I'm ready.
All right, Brandon, you already had a chance. Brandon, you go. All right, you go last. Best for last. You had your chance already, buddy.
This is what happens when you get 3 Italians together.
It gets wild.
I was listening to a podcast this morning with Liz Bohannon. Is that how you say it? Yeah. And she was talking with this other person, and they were essentially talking about how sometimes as women, you're expected to be more meek or humble, or if you have these successes that you should kind of stay like lower, even if you're a successful business owner or whatever. And they were talking about it, and Liz just goes off about how she wants people to brag to her. And as soon as she said that, I was like, that is something that encourages me more than anything else, is when my friend brags to me about whatever they've accomplished or something big in their life, whether it's, I have a friend who almost every day they'll text me about like how their gym workout went. And I'm like, yes, please do that. Or I have a friend who, she doesn't want to do it, but I wish that she would text me more or call me more and tell me about how, like, just brag about how being a mom is. But I think that, especially as women, we don't want to brag. We want to like stay meek or humble or whatever. Not that meekness and humility.
So is that yours?
Yeah, I want.
Okay, so I need you to brag about something right now. So now you got to brag about something.
Well, I think thing that I'm like most proud of in
sure.
my life right now is what we're doing with Hope Not Nope, and just my own victory story of 10 years of chronic pain, being completely free from it, being a CrossFit athlete now for a couple of years, and I'm so proud of that. This week I PR'd my front squat, and last time I tried to PR it, I got 115 pounds, which is still a lot of weight, but I had a pinchy hip, my feet were still hurting, I was still, like, my low back was hurting and all this stuff, and I went from 115, this week, did it with no pain at 140 pounds. Yeah. And to go from, like, your PR being 115, like, usually the next time you PR is, like, 120, but to have, like, such a huge jump, it's just crazy. It's just such a gift to be able to be an athlete like I always wanted to be, but that I was told for 10 years that I couldn't be, and to be pain-free and really, like, loving it and thriving in it, and having the hard days because it's hard work, but, like, really pursuing that being a CrossFit athlete is awesome. So that's what I'm bragging about.
All right, Brandi, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so let her brag on it. No, but honestly, this is what I think is the goal. I think the goal is if we can find these things about each person we meet, and we can just allow them to brag or allow them to just walk into our house, you know what I mean? So what's your, all right, Dillon, now you get to answer the question.
Best for last.
What I feel really supported by.
Brandi's enjoying this, by the way.
I'm completely on board when people brag to us and they send us the little things of, I hope not noped my physician, I hope not noped my PA, I hope not noped my coach. Like, that stuff goes so far.
Yeah, for sure. Let people talk about what they're excited about.
Exactly. But I think what supports me the most is when we work with people, or we do an event and we do a talk, and they come up with a smile on their face and they go, that's not what I was expecting. Like, great. Yeah. Because we don't want to be in a box. Mm-hmm. Like, people hear physical therapist and they think of, oh, I get a script and I do these wimpy exercises for my knee with these printout sheet. You do some ultrasound, you do some electrical stimulation, you do scraping, you do an adjustment, and that's it. And I'm like, well, actually the clinical practice guidelines say that we shouldn't be doing that. Like, we should be doing this other thing. And when we give that message, I mean, that's what helped create this message of hope, not nope. So when people come up and they say, that's not what I was expecting, I love that. I was expecting a lecture on tissue healing, a lecture on biomechanics, a lecture on this, but you really empowered me and you really picked me up, and I feel like I can do the thing that I've been wanting to do now. Like, that lets me know that we're accomplishing, that our message is being clear enough to get to people that it's different, because it is different. And it needs to be different, because the way that things are being done, it's not working. For the first time in history, more than 50% of Americans are ranking their healthcare as very poor or fairly poor. The half that are ranking it as good are the half that are on Medicare, where a lot of things are taken care of. So that there's a huge gap, and people are quoting, I'm sick of these underwhelming, overpriced visits when it comes to my health. Yeah,
no, you're right. I mean, we even in our own ministry do something called Samaritan. If you look it up, and it's a health share. So we'll pay a monthly, we'll pay monthly, and then anything that is under that monthly payment, you have to pay. Anything's over that monthly payment, Samaritan will pay for it. You're like, how do they pay for it? By all those monthly payments. Right. And it's a non-profit. Yeah. And you see it. And I was looking in different, different health cares and different things with research, and I took it to, a few of our staff that are in administration. They're like, hey, would you want to do this? And resounding, none of them, no, we got to do it. We love this because they get notes from people like, so if you have a baby, it's $10,000, right? You'll get like 100 checks. And they'll write a note, congratulations on your baby, and we hope it went well and it was safe, and we hope, we're praying for you and this and that. And it's beautiful. And there's a lot of health share now. If you go look it up, there's about 50 different health shares out there. It used to be Samaritan and a couple others. But I think that's what we're saying here today. Look, take a risk to get outside yourself, to learn more about people, to be uncomfortable. You know, my goal, you know, with this podcast is that atheists are going to want to come on here, that Buddhists, you know, I'm going to have Omir Yurt-Seven, he's a Muslim, like, he's going to come up, like, you're Muslim, what encourages you? What keeps you going? What helps you? Like, to have people on from all the, hey, look, if it's help, I want to know. Maybe I need to go think about this in my life. Maybe I need to go deeper into who I am, you know, dedicated in my faith, you know, but know that I'm cheering you on. And then, look, you know, we all have our call. And I'm somebody that, I'm going. You know, I'm going to give it everything I got. We got this gym to build. We got, you know, the arena build. We got all kinds of, but I'm cheering you guys on and what you're doing. And hopefully you know that I pray for you. You're on my list. And I'm always thinking about you. And I miss Brandi, of course, being around all the time. But know that our goal is to encourage others. And that's what you guys are doing. You know, it's about encouragement. And that's the kind of people I want on here. You know, one of my favorite stories is being punched in the chest by another coach, and now I went to his tournament. He's my friend, you know, and like it's just like, look, you can't. Encouragement's unstoppable, and hope's unstoppable. So you keep it going, all right? Yeah. And if you need any help, and I know you say, but I'm not gonna call you. I'm just like my grandmother. All right, my grandma says, I'm not calling you. You're gonna call me. Now, if you call me, I'm gonna be on the phone with you like her until 2 hours. She's on the phone with me for like 2 hours. That's crazy.
Oh, we're not calling. We're showing up.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Dillon. Now we're talking. Dillon, you better show up. If you walk in, if you're the first one, I'm kidding. Get out of here. No, I would not. I'd be so excited. I'd be like, where's the pizzella? You know, get the pizzella. Let's go get the pizzella. No, but Brandi, keep it up. And you know me. I've always cheered this guy on. You're one of those guys. I never had. Some of the guys, get this guy. Or like some of the girls would bring me these guys. I'm like, get this guy. But I've never once said that about you. You know, you're such a gift. And I just hope for the best. And guys, listen to me. If you want an event, you know, I've done 1,500 live events. Hey, these guys aren't so bad. You know, jump on, do an event with them. If you want a client, my son was a client. You can't get the family discount, but guess what? Make sure, you know, jump on, reach out to them. Where can they find you?
HopeNotNope.org. Everything, social media, Instagram, YouTube, Hope Not Nope, Hope Not Nope podcast. Yeah, we learned to make it simple. HopeNotNope.org, Hope Not Nope everything.
Yeah. Great work, and may all of you know that you're a gift and that you are amazing, and that guess what, there's somebody out there you need to bring hope to. Who is that person? Listen to them and ask them, how can I encourage you? Not what they can do for you, but what can you do for them? This week, go ask them, how can I encourage you? How can I bring you hope? And guess what, your life will be changed forever. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Encouragement Conquers All podcast with Justin Fatica. Make sure to subscribe and follow to be notified when the newest episodes of the podcast go live. You can find contact information and important links in the show notes. Stay tuned for the next episode.